WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Amelia Lee. When the floodwaters hit the region, they soaked Pike County with devastation, with many communities seeing more water than they ever expected. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has a look at the impacts of the widespread water.
From businesses in the city of Cold Run,
it washed away in a blink of an eye,
to cut off communities miles away.
Yeah, I've been the chief at the Marbone Fire Department 25 years, and I've never seen the water come through there as fast as it did and as high.
The people of Pike County are working to clean up and push forward, building back what the weekend waters washed away, with many stores shoveling their mud-covered inventory into dumpsters.
I know it's just games and toys, you know, but one of the things that I've always wanted to do, my life's dream, to make a store like this.
While homes and communities are waiting to be reconnected in order to get the recovery process started.
It's just a lot of devastation. There's a lot of roads washed out. People's lost power, lost water.
With crews surveying the damage, while volunteers pour out to pick up their neighbors in need.
And I guess I was expecting 2 or 3 people because I figured they'd be spread around, but my goodness, they showed up with what feels like an army.
First responders say the work ahead may seem insurmountable.
You couldn't prepare for what happened. There's no way. Nobody was prepared for what we got.
But the region is indestructible.
It's the main thing. We got to work together to get through this, and it's going to take all of us together.
In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The impacts of the flooding in Pike County extended well past Marbone, with reports of entire neighborhoods still covered in miles of mud in the Mouthcard community. KSP Post 9 is working with some partners to keep an eye on those in need. Troopers joined forces with the United Cajun Navy to begin canvassing neighborhoods impacted by the flooding. The group has taken a convoy of care through parts of Pike County, delivering cases of water and doing welfare checks. Trooper Michael Coleman shared a statement saying KSP will also be increasing its presence in flooded communities to protect against theft and property damage. Folks in Knott County are trying to repair following the devastation. Shelley Ratliff with the home health agency Comfort Hills says they are still feeling lingering effects from the flood in 2022. The company cares for folks throughout the area with disabilities, ensuring they have their medication, groceries, or anything else they need. But flooding has made it difficult to reach clients, and incoming winter weather is raising even more concerns.
We're trying to get all their stuff together and make sure they have all their medications and their groceries in, and that we have workers that can stay there until till the mess is over, till the snow goes away, because you have to have somebody with them at all times.
With roughly 265 people still without power and 500 without water, emergency management officials in the county are concerned with snow in the forecast, making their task of scraping and clearing off roads more difficult. In Hazard, a family is gutting their home of more than 20 years, forced to start over following flooding. But as WYMT's Caroline Mueller shows us, they are not doing it alone.
For Jama Griffey, this house was more than just a home. It was where she and her family built decades of memories. But after 5 feet of water rushed inside, everything changed.
That's probably the hardest, outside of just the fact that everything's gone. I mean, cabinets, all the furniture, everything was just submerged.
Griffey and her husband live in the upstairs part of the home, while her 77-year-old mother with Alzheimer's lives on the lower level. She says in 20 years, floodwaters never touched the house, so when rain started falling, they did not prepare for what was coming.
So we didn't do the extensive prep. We were able to keep a few keepsakes and some photographs and things out, but some of the memorable things, like some of her Bibles and things like that, were obviously destroyed.
Now they're tearing everything out.
When you start thinking about days ahead, you start thinking about once we start rebuilding, we have to have stoves, refrigerator. I mean, it's just like a continued list.
With her mother displaced and unable to return home, Griffey and her family are left to pick up the pieces. But they are not alone. Volunteers from near and far stepped in to help.
We're just going up and down Main Street and downtown. We're going to help out wherever's needed. I mean, we're going to bring water to whoever needs it. anything we can do, really. These is like our community, so I mean, this is where we're from, and down here, everybody helps out everybody.
From tearing out drywall to carrying in food, Griffey says the community response has been overwhelming.
I think that you can prepare all day long, all that you want to for any kind of natural disaster, whether it be flooding, tornadoes, whatever, but the emotional aspect of it, even just the community coming together, is so emotional.
She says now they worry about how the winter weather will impact the rebuilding process. In Perry County, Caroline Mueller, WYMT, Mountain News.
Griffey and her sister say one of the hardest things is having to remind their mother on a daily basis of the loss they're facing because of her illness. In response to the recent floods throughout eastern Kentucky, Appalachian Regional Healthcare launched a flood relief drive. Right now, ARH is in the starting process of getting donations, working to support people in communities impacted by flooding. Brian Springgate with Hazard ARH says they are accepting donations of essential cleanup and recovery items. They're asking for water, non-perishable food, and more.
Helping is part of what hospitals do, all hospitals. But this hospital, our mission is, this hospital and our company, our mission is to provide health to the community as well as assistance when people are, when we need it.
The drop-off locations are at the former JCPenney in Hazard, ARH Systems Center in Lexington, and the former Highlands ARH Cancer Center building in Prestonsburg. You can also make a monetary donation online. WYMT and our sister station WKYT are partnering with ARH. Governor Andy Beshear hosted a Team Kentucky update for the third day in a row. During his briefing this morning, the governor says 14 people have now died from the past weekend's severe weather. The death toll remains at 5 for folks who have died out of eastern Kentucky. Governor Beshear says nearly 300 people were forced to evacuate from their apartment complexes in Martin County. During his briefing, Governor Beshear announced several places were being used as emergency shelters. In Knox County, you can go to the First Baptist Church in Barberville. New Life Church is available for those in Pulaski County in the Ferguson area. And folks in Lawrence County can go to the Community Center in Louisa. We have a full list of places in our area that's opened up shelters at WYMT.com.
So we had a break from the precipitation, but now snow chances are in the forecast starting tonight. Take a look at the scene right now in Knott County. We're seeing temperatures right around 28 degrees near Hindman. But when you factor in that wind, it feels like 23. We have that wind out of the east-northeast at around 5 miles per hour. There's a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar, and we'll go ahead and pinpoint, if you will, over towards portions of Pulaski County as well as Wayne County and Kentucky near the Somerset area, seeing a little bit of snow at this hour. And there's a lot more to the west. You can see that line of snow pushing through portions of Illinois and into western Kentucky. That's our weather maker as we roll into the overnight hours into the day on Wednesday. And temperatures right now are in the 20s and 30s. And if you think that's chilly, wait till we get into the second half of the work week. We'll drop down to 17 for tonight again. We'll start the evening off with cloudy skies, but then the snow chances will pick up throughout the overnight hours. We'll plot everything out with Future View coming up in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Amelia.
All right, thank you, Eric. Let's take a look now at the power outage map in Kentucky. Most of the counties in our area appear to be doing well for the most part. There are still roughly 175 people waiting for power to come back on in Breathitt and Leslie counties. Mudslides and landslides can be a problem after flooding. Folks in a Letcher County community experienced that yesterday. WYMT's McKinley Calandrino was at the mudslide that caused many to evacuate their homes.
Water is rushing into people's homes after a massive mudslide is what officials are calling it here on Henry Hutton Drive in Fleming, Neon, Kentucky.
It was a normal morning for Clint Cook until it was not. A loud noise that caught his attention.
I thought a car wrecked. I started hearing some like flipping noises, and I was like, man, that's pretty tough. And I walked outside, and as I was getting up off my couch to actually go outside, my whole house just moved over.
He says the impact was so powerful it shifted his home. Walls were cracked and floors fell through. His first instinct was checking on his girls. What came next caused the most damage. Rushing water.
The mudslides covering the creek were going to flood. And it wasn't honestly 2 minutes and the water started coming.
Though water chased people out of their homes, many responded to those in need. The mayor of Fleming Neon and Letcher County Judge Executive made calls to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for assistance, who was then left inspired by the action immediately taken for the Eastern Kentucky family.
What's so inspiring here is that the city and the county jumped in to seize the moment.
Crews have been working to clear roads so that travel is available to McRoberts. Mayor Ricky Burke says that people whose houses were affected by the mudslide will be a priority to get those settled back in.
Officials tell me that there were about 7 families evacuated from their homes and taken to safer places, and at this time there are no reported injuries or fatalities. They are hoping to get the road cleared by the end of the day today. In Fleming Neon, McKinley Calandrino, WYMT Mountain News.
Officials with the Transportation Cabinet also say the frigid temperatures coming our way, paired with the excessive flooding on the roadways, will be dangerous. Folks need to take extra precaution if driving, but they strongly urge you not to drive. Congressman Hal Rogers spoke with WYMT about the recent flood. He says he asked FEMA and the White House to be quick in their response, and he says he sent a letter to the president asking for speedy relief and asking for assistance to families.
So far, the emergency declaration has been for governmental things. I want that expanded to include individual assistance, which our people desperately need.
In the days following this weekend's devastating floods, many community organizations are jumping into action. When pictures came up of the flooding, members with the Kentucky Education Development Corporation had a plan in place to help those in need. KEDC has been in touch with superintendents in some of the hard-hit areas, like Pike County, to let them know help is coming. They're collecting monetary donations and pieces of clothing like hat, mittens, and boots.
We are also going to work with family resource centers and look for the need that the students have. For instance, it may be socks.
KEDC says they will be doing a needs assessment in the coming days to determine what school supplies will be needed. They will also send tech crews there as school starts back up if asked. Many folks are working to restore the Kermit community in Mingo County, West Virginia, after floodwaters wreaked havoc there. The old Kermit Gym is opening its doors to serve people from across Mingo County, even into Wayne County. Kermit Mayor Charles Sparks says the road to normalcy is long. Ahead of an expected snowstorm in the coming days, those in Kermit say there is no better team than their community to help make sure everyone is taken care of.